So hi everyone. I feel a bit like we've done all the marketing stuff. We've done all the I feel a bit like everyone's going, oh no, it's the sales. Because you know what? When I first set up, one of the things I realised very quickly was I was meeting loads of people who never wanted to be in sales, and actually they'd ended up there. And you know what? I understood that because I'm one of them. I never set out to be a salesperson. Keith talked a lot about story. My story is that I went to university and my degree is in ancient history and archaeology. That's what it is. You know why? Because I wanted to be Indiana Jones. Or I wanted to meet Indiana Jones. I was open to either. Either would work for me. And what I realised very quickly was those jobs don't actually exist. And I also realised archaeology isn't like that. Though it's a great preparation for sales, because what I did is I went and I spent 6 months at Segedunum in the rain with a trowel, and this is what I did for 6 months. No. 6 months, 8 hours a day in the rain. Trust me, I was done by the end of that. So I went off and I did other things. And that led me to where I set up my business, because I accidentally fell into sales. But now I'm a real advocate of it, because I know it makes a difference to everybody's business. But when I set up on my own, I quickly realised that actually I was teaching people how to swear. Because as soon as I came in and said, what do? It was the S word, it was sales. People go. And in fact, when I set up my business, I was even advised, do you really want to set up and say that you're in sales? Why not say you're in business development? Because that's different, isn't it? Why don't you say you're in account management, customer experience? No, you know what I do? I help people how to sell, because I don't think we should be ashamed of it. And quite often when I talk to people about sales, they've got like a really bad feel. They do feel like they're swearing at people. I think I couldn't possibly do that. It's like a bad thing. And I think one of the reasons for that is because we've all had that phone call. You know the one I'm talking about, at 6 o'clock at night. Just got in, you're running around, you make the tea, the phone rings. You answer and you say hello, and they go, hello, is that Mrs. V. Fleming? And straight away, what do you think? Oh, God, it's one of those calls, don't you? And your heart sinks. And you go, yes. And then they go, and are you the homeowner? Or the other big away line is the other thing they say is, how are you today? And on either front, you think this is a sales call. And I know it's a sales call because you know what? I spent 4 whole days working in double glazing sales. That's right, I did 4 whole days. I was at university, I needed beer money. I did 4 days, ringing up, making those phone calls. It was horrendous. I never went back. I never got paid for the 4 days. That was the worst thing. So I know that we don't necessarily feel great about it. So what quite often happens is that we do a lot of something else. Do you recognise this? We do a lot of marketing. And don't get me wrong, we've had some great marketing advice today. I'm a big advocate of it. But actually, sometimes we hide behind our marketing. And the thing is with marketing is we put a lot of stuff out there, but sooner or later we need to do something about it. We need to take the next step. We need to turn that marketing, that interest, that interaction that we've actually generated, we need to turn it into money. And that's sometimes a little bit of the equation that we get a bit scared about. Because marketing can sometimes feel a bit like this. You know, you chuck it all out there and you go like this. The phone's still not rang. Still not a check come through the door with my name on it. But it can feel like that. It can be very reactive. The thing about sales is very proactive. It's about getting out there. It's about having the conversation. And it's about asking someone to give you money for what you do. And for a lot of us, we kind of think, well, it's not very British, really, is it? It's not what we're used to. It's really interesting. I've been doing some work with selling into America. Selling into America is hilarious. You ever get the chance, totally go and sit in on some of those calls. Because you ring up, and you say, hi, and they go, is this a sales call? And you go, oh, yeah. And they go, great, bring it on, lay it on me. What you got for me? They love it. They absolutely love it. It's a culture that says, look, give it to me. Give me the goods. I'm enjoying this experience. We're not like that in Britain, no. We're really not like that. We're really, really not like that. And you know what? That's okay. Because you know what? Harry and Meghan, we love them. But it's not going to make us all Americans overnight, is it? It's going to take a little while. But like referencing Harry and Meghan, it's actually a really good point to think about the fact that you might not think you're a salesperson, but you actually sell every single day. Every person in this room sells every single day. And I know that you do. I know that you do because last Saturday, Harry sealed the biggest deal of his life. He proposed. He gained agreement to something. He got Meghan, beautiful Meghan, I mean, we love her, let's be honest. He got her to marry him. I mean, let's be honest, it wasn't a hard sale. He asked a question, will you marry me? It's a yes, no. It is actually in its purest possible form of proposal. And where else do we do proposals? We do them in sales. Now, you might think, well, that's not really sales. But it is, because sales are just getting agreement. And you've probably done it today. Anyone ran around the kids this morning trying to gain agreement? Oh, come on, just put the shoes on. Come on, we rush. Yeah, we can have like fish fingers for tea. Just put the shoes on. We've got to go. Put the shoes on. You're gaining agreement, aren't you? You're negotiating. You're saying, if you put those shoes on, I'll get you fish fingers for tea. It's a negotiation, it's sales. It might be that you negotiate around what you do on a weekend. You want to do one thing, your partner wants to do something else. I normally know who wins that one, ladies. But you have a negotiation, you talk, you want to do one thing, someone wants to do something else. All of this is actually just selling. It's promoting your opinion. It's promoting your view and what you want to get out of an interaction. That's all that sales is. So actually, you're already a salesperson. You just don't recognize it. And you're a salesperson because you're having conversations every day in which you're gaining agreement. Every single day you have conversations doing this. The only difference is with sales conversations, they tend to involve the other swear word in the room, the M word. Money. Yeah, we all get a bit British about that as well, don't we? I can possibly talk about money. I think I'm terribly rude. How much is it? I'll put it on my website, then I don't have to tell anyone, because that's difficult, isn't it? I'll put it on my website. It's on the website, yeah, because then it just saves me from having to say the mutt word. So we have this. So what I want to tell you about today is the fact that you are a salesperson. And actually you're having sales conversations every day. These are simply conversations with purpose. And actually moving that into the sales environment is simply having that conversation with purpose in a sales environment about your business. It's a conversation about your business. You've all talked about your business today. That's all it is. With purpose. And what we need to be careful of is a few little things that can make us go from the normal, fantastic, approachable, normal conversation having people into, you know what happens sometimes, you have those conversations and you go over here and you turn into the salesperson, don't you? You turn into the double glazing person. You think, oh, how did that happen? It's because mentally you change your hat. And you think, I'm not this person anymore, I'm now that person. I have to do this and I have to do it like that. You don't. You just need to be yourself. What you do need to think about, it's just a two-way conversation. It's a two-way conversation in which you're going to ask great questions and listen. In the same way as you would if you met someone socially, you met someone new at the pub, whatever it might be. You want to show genuine interest. Interest is brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Networking, I'll give you one of my hottest tips. This is a hot tip coming. You know, whenever you meet someone, oh, hi, lovely to meet you, lovely to meet you. What's your name? Oh, I'm Victoria. Oh, Fred, lovely to meet you. Yeah, what is it you do? Get in first. Why do I want to get in first? Because they will feel obliged at some point in the conversation to ask me the question back. But more importantly, what it's shown is I have immediate interest in that person. And we like that. We like it when someone's interested. So we're going to say, you know, what is it you do? And then what we're not going to do is jump straight back with what we do. We're going to respond to what they say, just like we would in real life. This is what makes it really easy when you start to step back. Step back and just have the conversation. I think the other thing is in sales, when you put that hat on, you expect to meet someone and go at the sale in one step. And actually, this is a bit of a journey that we need to go on instead. And I'm going to talk about how we can take some of those steps in just a moment. So the great news is you're now all salespeople, aren't you? Sorry. I think you're all being British again, right? So you're all now salespeople, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, you see? Tony Robbins would make you do that standing up with your arms in the air, but I'm not Tony, I won't make you do that. So the thing that you're often told is that when you move into these sales conversations, you need to do something very different. And when many people set up in business, this becomes really daunting. So a lot of people, you set up in business because you're good at something. You're great at PR, you're brilliant at website design, you're amazing at photography. So you have a special and unique skill and you think, you know what? I can do this for myself and make £1 million. Did you think that? We all thought that. We thought, I'll make £1 million. How hard can it be? God, it's hard, isn't it? So we all thought that. And we've got our brilliant thing that we do and we take it out and think, oh no, now I've got to get someone to give me some money with it. And actually that wasn't something you originally signed up to do. But quite often there's only you, so there's no one else to do it. And you think, oh, that's really difficult. I couldn't believe it. I've been in sales for forever. 15 years I was in corporate before I set up on my own. And I still remember my first networking event. I remember the first person I spoke to. She was called Heather Williams. Some of you might remember her. She's event management. She's fantastic. But I remember I came in the room and I went, just set up a business. I'm going to help you sell stuff. I have to go now. I just couldn't do it. I thought, what is this? Why do I feel so why can't I do this? Because I'd sold everything. I'd sold consultancy, I'd sold training, I'd sold software, I'd sold all sorts of stuff. But all of a sudden, I couldn't do it. And I realized that this is the thing that stops so many people. I was being asked to sell myself. And I'd never had to do that before. I'd always had to sell a thing. Or I'd had to sell somebody else. And isn't that easier? Because all of a sudden, when you start to have to sell yourself, that becomes very personal. Because all of a sudden you start to think, what if someone says no? Because what are they actually saying no to? They're actually saying no to me. And that is an incredibly scary thing to even think about, never mind to happen. And it's a huge shift, and it's a shift that many of us moving into business have to make. We have to all of a sudden, we're not selling a thing, we're not selling a pencil anymore, we're not selling software, we're not selling, we're selling ourselves. How do we do that? And I think that is a huge question. And it was a question which for a little while actually stumped me. It really did. And I actually wondered if I could do this. And could I sell myself? Maybe this is the one thing I couldn't sell. This was the kryptonite of my existence. And I thought, this is ridiculous. This is completely ridiculous because sales is just a conversation. We're all salespeople, yeah? So it's ridiculous. Why am I going on like this? And eventually I thought, right, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to get better at it. And I sat down and I came up with a genius idea. And I now tell everyone about my genius idea. And my genius idea is this bag right here. This bag. It's one of many bags I have. Some of you may know that. Many shoes as well. But this is a very important bag because I no longer sell myself. I sell the bag. So if you feel like this and you worry about selling yourself, then this is my top tip. Stop selling yourself. It's really difficult and it's personal. And you know what? You are not selling you, the individual, unique, special person you are. You're not. You are selling the unique, special experience that you have, the unique, special knowledge and skills that you have, the unique, special approach and the unique response that you get from your customers. That is what you're selling, and that isn't you. And you know why it's not you? Because there's a whole heap of other stuff that's in here as well that's not for sale. So I now suggest that it is something that you struggle with. You go home and you get yourself the most exciting gift bag you can find. And you start to put in this bag what you do sell. So I actually have a big board that I use in my office for this. So I have things in here like testimonials from clients, people who said, thank you so much, that's amazing. I have a poem that someone left on a feedback form that says, oh my goodness, this training has made my life different. I have a card in here with some flowers from my professional institute. So when I became a fellow in that institute, they sent me flowers. I kept the card because you know what? That qualification and experience is part of what I'm selling. You see where I'm going with this? I've been training this out for quite a while now, and in some of my workshops we actually do this. And we even get people to put things in other people's bags. Because a lot of what people see value in isn't what we see value in. So someone put something in my bag that says, "You're just so smiley." Really? You're going to pay money for that? You know, a smile a bit? Okay, you see value. Brilliant. Anything like that, put it in your bag. Start to build a bag, because all of a sudden what you're doing is you're thinking about, actually, when I go out to sell, this is what I'm selling. And you know what? If someone says no to that, is that okay? It's a bag with some bits of paper in. Trust me, it's fine. Okay? We don't need to feel like that about it. So that's a top takeaway. I bumped into this one at Christmas. They did this 2 years ago with me. And they literally said, "I have to show you something." They had one of these massive bags like I did, and they dug around in the bag. And they pulled out this really battered gift bag full of stuff. She says, "Do you remember we did this?" I said, "I do." She says, "I carry it everywhere. I take it everywhere with me. Every time I go to meet them, because I know it's in my bag. I have it there." So it's top tip. Think about, instead of selling yourself, sell what you offer. This is really interesting thing as well. It's about preparation. One of the things that I've found is that people don't prepare in sales. They don't prepare for the conversations they're going into. So, you know, in this room, can anyone put their hands in there who's actually practiced and role-played a sales conversation? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've got a few in here. That's really good. Generally, we get a much lower response. But preparing for these interactions is really important. And we have to prepare for the tough ones. It's a really good idea that if you go out to a meeting and it doesn't go well, come back, actually write down why it didn't go well, and use that to practice on. Because actually, it's that fluidity that makes all of the difference. And doing it every single day, you know, really getting it to the point where it's just very comfortable for you talking about your business. Because sooner or later, we're going to have to go back to the M word, aren't we? You knew it was coming, the M word. Money, right, we're going to get comfortable with money. This is the other thing that holds us back. We have a great conversation, we get the interest, they're like really interested. And when I had my first telesales job, my sales manager, some of you might know her, Sharon MacArthur, my first ever telesales manager, she might not share that. She'll tell you how terrible I was. I was awful. I was very young. I went in. I used to ring people up and I used to go, "Hi. Yeah, I'm ringing from Sage. Oh yeah, okay. We can help you with all of that stuff." And I used to have these fantastic conversations because I was young. Yeah, I was quite young and sweet and all this, that, and a long time ago. We used to have these great conversations. And they used to be really interested. And I'd go, "Brilliant. Okay, then well, I'll ring you next week. Bye." And I used to put the phone down. And Sharon used to do a nut. You know why? The person wanted to buy off me, and I just told them I'd bring them back. And I did it because I couldn't deal with money. Couldn't deal with asking for the money at that point in time, not even for someone else's product or service. So again, this is something to practice, and this is something to do in a mirror. Especially if you're selling a service, this is a really great idea, because sooner or later, there's a number going to have to come out of here. And you see, I know something that happens. I know what happens in your head, right? So you're sat with someone, you're having the conversation, and they say, "Right, so how much is it?" And in your head you think, "It's £1,000. It's £1,000. It's £1,000. And you open your mouth and say, "It's £800. And you look at their face, and they're looking at you like you've got two heads because of the way you've just said it, as if you don't even know how much it is. And then you go, "For you, I could do it for £600. And now you're desperate, yeah? And the other thing is, how much are you selling this £1,000 product for now? It's now £600. It's a disaster. So the thing is, we've got to practice it. We have a disconnect. It's a disconnect. Don't do it to yourself. I mean it every morning in the mirror when you're cleaning your teeth. You think, "I'm looking quite good today. I put my mascara on. You know, I managed to clean my teeth without getting stuff everywhere. Mirror's quite liking me today. I'm going to do my money practice now." And what are you going to say at the mirror? "It's £1,000, all right? Hi, it's £1,000. My name is Victoria Fleming. It's £1,000. It's £1,000. Oh, that service would be £1,000. You see where I'm going here? And you think I'm joking? Look at your face while you do it. Just look at your face. Because you'll see what your prospect is seeing. And it's not always pretty. You might think you're good at this. I've seen some faces, all right? So you're going to practice that. But once you're good at that, and once you're thinking, "Hey, I'm looking good, I'm feeling fine," and you know what? It's £1,000. And you think, "That mirror's going to buy me. I'm just on it." Right, you know what that is? You're not asking for enough money. All right, so now, the day after, we're going to start and say, "Hi, it's Victoria Fleming, and it's £1,200. Damn it. All right? Because it was actually 2,000, wasn't it? So we're going to go back and practice some more, and we're going to keep asking, and we are going to get rid of that block. The more you practice, the more relaxed you get with this, the easier it will be when you do it in real life. You might think I'm crazy. Trust me, it works. I'm up to £9 million now. I mean, any day now, I'm going to be in the room with someone and I'm going to think, yeah, this is the deal. And then I'll go, million? So the other thing about this is, like, once we're feeling good, we're looking fine, the mirror's going to buy us, and we're thinking, I'm going to sell my bag of stuff, we need to have a plan. And again, this is something that sometimes people don't have, as clear as maybe they could. How long did you spend on your marketing plan? And how long did you spend on your sales plan? Now, is there anyone in the room who's spent longer on their sales plan than the marketing plan? One. Bill, I'm feeling it. You and me both. You know why? My marketing's not very good. But it's a really good point. We spend a long time investing in our marketing plan, but we don't spend as much thinking about our sales plan. And it might seem a little bit self-explanatory, but we just need to nail down a few of those basics, and this is easy. It doesn't have to take long. But actually having this in place can really change your results. So stuff like just the basics. You know, what is it you're actually selling? Especially if you're in a service-based business. So I'm in sales. So what can I do for you? Oh, anything to do with sales. Anything. I can do some consultancy, I could do some training, I could write some scripts, I could do loads of stuff. That's really great and helpful and interesting to you, but actually to a prospect that can be really confusing because they don't really know what you can do for them. So having an idea of exactly what it is you sell, so the building blocks of the things that you sell, what the benefits are around those, and the price points of those things is a great place to start. And I really encourage you, if you haven't got that already, and I understand services is very easy to get foggy around this, try and nail it down to 2 or 3 key things that you do. Even if that's on a time metric, because that'll give you something to work with. And then you can start to feel more confident about it, because the next thing you need to work out is what sort of price to put on that. And again, once you can start to break that down, it means you won't make terrible deals, because we've all done that before as well, haven't we? You know, you go and do that deal and you walk out and you think, I've just sold myself for £3.50 an hour. I don't believe this. We've all done it. But the more clear you can get on like what you should be taking an hour, what you should be taking a day, and what the products that fit into that range are, the better you can get at that. So have a bit of a think of a plan. And the other thing is, I'm going to mention another swear word, targets. If you run your own business, it's really easy not to have targets. How much do you want? Well, as much as I can. How well do you want to do this month? Better than last month? Yeah? Any of this ringing true with anyone? You know that's brilliant, but you've got to have something to shoot for. And the other thing is you've got to work out how you're going to do it. There's absolutely no point in me saying this month I'd like to earn £1 million on turnover if I sell my time at £1,000 a day. Because how many days are there in the month? I can't make £1 million. It's physically impossible. So we need to get clear about those things. And that target could be around anything. It could be about units, around the number of days, or the number of products you want to sell. It could be about your turnover. It could be a profit figure. Whatever works for you and your business, different things work better in different businesses. Because then you can start to think about what that translates to on an activity basis, and actually if it's feasible. And quite often when you start to do this is when you realise you're not charging enough. Because you just think, well, actually, that's the figure I want to get to, and all my activities are only going to get me to here. So you need to start thinking about either bringing your target down and planning for a lower return, or thinking about what different activity you can do to get to that level. But if you don't proactively think about this, what you end up doing is just running month to month to month, trying to do more and more and more, and quite often just working harder and harder and harder for not actually an awful lot more money. So I'm a big fan of targets. Set them for the year, set them for the month, even set them for the week. And think about, your day-to-day activity. How are you generating those leads? How many blog posts do you need to put out to generate the traffic to your website so that you get enough interest that you can have the conversations to turn them into money and sales? What do those metrics look like? Because that's going to start to dictate your time. And just remember to say sales is a journey. Sometimes we get all over enthusiastic and we think, yeah, I've got a target. Like, I've done my mirror thing. I'm ready. And then we start to forget it's a journey. Sales is all about relationships. That's why digital media is so important these days, because it's about conversations, and actually it's a great way of shortcutting your sales. Great way. And you know, as we're saying, a lot of the stuff online these days, you know, people are still having those relationships, but they're having them digitally. They're having them on Facebook, they're having them on Twitter. But what it's still doing is building a relationship that means that people trust you. That doesn't happen overnight. If someone dashes up to you in the middle of Elm Square Shopping Centre and drops to one knee and says, "Will you marry me?" What are you going to say? Yes. Oh, good God. See me later. But I mean, the likelihood is you're going to go no and you're going to run, because that is a weirdo, yeah? Because there's no relationship. And sometimes that's what we do with sales. We try and jump straight to the end game. We try and sell before we've got the relationship. And in fact, what we end up doing is we end up doing the worst thing that we can ever do. Does anyone recognise this guy? Luke. It's Luke, Mr. Skywalker. Yeah, I didn't want to be him. I was still in the Harrison camp, but there you go. But this particular shot was at a really pivotal moment. Do you remember, do anyone recognise where it might have been? It was when he's on his final run on the Death Star. Do you remember? And if you remember, there'd been all the other, right, so all the other fighter pilots had come in, and they'd missed and they'd got exploded, or they'd missed and they'd pulled up, and then Luke was going and they're saying, "Luke, pull out, and he's going, "Just one more minute, Luke, pull out, just one more minute, use the force, Luke, oh, just one more minute," right, and then what did he do? He hit the button and he blew up the Death Star. But he did it for two reasons. Because he held on. He held on. He was not a premature pitcher. He waited. He waited. We'll leave that with her. So the point is, he waited. He waited till the moment was right. And then he used the force. What he did was he thought, is my relationship right to kill this Death Star? And he did. And it's the same in sales. What we've got to do, just don't rush. Just don't rush. You're going with focus. You're on your run. You're there. You're ready. Just don't go too soon. Make sure that things feel right before you actually make that proposition. Because if you make it too soon, you're going to get blown out. And this is where I think your next agreed action can help so much. Because they quite often sell the journey and we try and jump straight to the end game, and we forget about that relationship build and that journey. Next agreed action is one of the most important things in sales, and it's actually easy. And it's easy because all you're agreeing is the next thing you're going to do. So, you've been out on Saturday night, been partying. Was this you last Saturday at the wedding? Is it just me that was there? Okay, in my head. Okay, so you do your party, you do something. And normally, the last thing you say is you roll out the taxi is what? "I'll ring you tomorrow. I love you." Yeah? Again, just me. Literally, anybody do this? Is it really just me? You've had a drink and you think whoever's in the taxi is your new best friend. I'll ring you tomorrow. I'll ring you. Right, what are we doing? It's our next agreed action. We have agreed we're going to speak tomorrow and we're going to have a conversation. We do it in our personal lives. Why don't we do it in sales? It's a step on the journey. So if you're in a sales conversation and you're building that relationship, do not rush into the end game. Do start to think about your next agreed action. When are you next going to speak? When are you next going to meet? What information can you support someone with? So today, I hope that I've stopped you from turning the air blue, and I've turned sales into awesome conversations for you. My key thing is I want you to go away, feel more confident, happier, and actually expand your comfort zone, because it's something you can completely do. And you don't need to feel bad about this. You absolutely can sell your product and service. You have all the skills inside you, and you can present them in the very best way to ensure that you and your business is successful. So thanks so much for listening. And if anyone's got any questions and we've got time for them, then I'm happy to take them.